Hi, I'm Carl Fechner from Internet Secrets Made Easy, and I want to talk today about how does Google rank websites, and I want to try and keep it in a simple, no geek, no techie speak for you. And one of the things that's important to understand is that, let me just see if get this to click, is that Google has over 200 factors in their algorithms, and really what's important to understand that when Google is out there searching the net for who's going to rank on top of it, it's robots that are doing it, that and there's algorithms and calculations and mathematics and all of that other stuff behind the scenes working that out, who's going to get on the top page of Google. And it's complex, but it's simple if you remember a few fundamental principles. And there's really three factors in there, and one is trust. Trust is at the very core of what Google want. They don't want poor quality websites. They don't want untrustworthy sites. They want high quality, legitimate sites at the top of at the front page, on the front pages, and they're looking after the user. And the users coming online, the users are us. And what do we come online? We want good quality information that's going to answer our questions, and we want to be able to trust that that information that we're getting. The other thing is authority, and this is why I keep talking about, in all of the teachings and the coaching that I do, I'm talking about you need to brand yourself as an authority in your industry, and be recognized as the authority. And if you do that right, that authority issue, and that's more, there's more information on that than I can possibly fit in here, but just know that trust and authority is important, that you build that in your online presence. And of course relevance, that the content that you're writing about or talking about, or doing videos on, or whatever way it is, it's relevant to what the users are searching for. So the next thing is, there's really, if we keep it simple, is there's the top 10 ranking factors is these. Is relevant keywords on the page. The keywords, and I've got a teaching on my website on this, but the keywords is the terms that your users are typing into the search bar when they go into Google. And those keywords that they type in, they're on your page. They're on the pages that you're doing it, and they're also in the headings and the headlines, etc. And if you look at a teaching that I've got there about meta tags and meta descriptions and title tags and H1 headings, there's a full explanation on this about the keywords. And the keywords in internal links, a simple way, and I'll give you if you go into Google and just type in what is internal links, you will see it'll come up with an answer. It's probably Wikipedia will give you an answer, but if I describe it in layman's terms, this is the best way to describe it. Imagine you've got a house plan and you've got rooms with adjoining doors. And let's say you've got a kitchen, and off your kitchen there's a door into your pantry, and you write on the door pantry. That's like having an internal link on your website. You're putting a sign on the door to say what that door is. Or you might have your master bedroom might have an ensuite to it, and you write on ensuite or toilet on the door. So it's telling the Google robots, the keywords of the internal links that are in your website. That's a very simple way to do it. But if you go in and just, as I said, type in what are internal links in a website, you'll get a more detailed answer. The other thing is user signals. User signals, what that means is how the user behaves on your website. Let me explain what I mean by that. First of all is the click-through rate. The click-through rate, what that means is that if you imagine the old yellow pages and you were browsing through, you were searching for something just like you do on Google, and you're flicking the pages and you stop at a page and you look at it and go, no, that's not what I want, and you keep flicking through the pages. What the click-through rate means is that they're browsing on that front page of Google, that first page where you see the information, the little bit of information about every website, and you click on it, and when you open it up you realize straight away, no, that's not what I want, and you click out of it. That's a click-through rate. Google wants to have it, or they're registering and monitoring that. So if you have a high click-through rate, or there's people not looking at many pages in your website, and that's the other thing with the click-through rate as well, how many pages are they looking at on your website when they click through, how many pages are they clicking through. That's really what I should be saying with the click-through rate. The other thing is whether there's the time on the site, how long are they staying on your website, are they just opening the door and basically closing the door and leaving, a bit like a shop. They walking into the shop and wandering around and looking at all of the stuff, or if they just walked in and almost walk out as quick as they've walked in. That's really the time on the site that they're measuring through. And the other one is the bounce rate, and that's what I really should have said in the first place with the first description. Bounce rate means that they're searching through the yellow pages, and they look at a page, they look at it and stop, and they go and open it up and go, no, that's not what I want, and they bounce out. They leave the site quickly. That's the bounce rate. That's the true definition of a bounce rate. So I apologize if that's a bit confusing. Domain SEO visibility, how strong the domain is in terms of links and authority. Basically, what I'm saying there is it's amazing how many times websites are built by web developers and web designers, and they don't actually have good descriptions on their pages. That the terms, instead of, if you look at our website and look at the web pages, you'll see how we've put them, and then we've added what's termed as an extension, and you can see the page description on the page, so the Google robots can see easily what the pages are, and the correct terms, etc., what they are. The search volume of a domain name, it really basically there is well, how many times are people searching for your name? And the interesting thing, or important factor in that, I always recommend, there's some debate on this, but I always recommend, if you're a local plumber and you live in a town, and let's call the town Bairnsdale, my hometown, is that your Bairnsdale plumber or your Bairnsdale mechanic. You try and get that into your domain name. It certainly makes it easier for the to get it to get on the front page of Google and be relevant. And there's a whole conversation on that alone. But basically, is how many times is your domain name being searched and found and on, etc. The other thing is backlinks, and I recommend with backlinks what you do with that is with the backlinks is just type into Google what is backlinks, but this in essence is how many backlinks are to your website. But just go into Google and type in what is backlinks, and it'll help you to understand that. And referring domains, so the total number of referring domains. Let me give you an example of what that could be. Let's say that you're in the tourist industry and you're a motel in the tourist industry, and you're in a motel somewhere in Victoria, Australia. Well, the referring domain names could be like Destination Gippsland, or Visit Victoria, or if it was New South Wales, Visit New South Wales, or Destination New South Wales, that you had made an arrangement that your website was linking to those websites. Your website was one of those registered with them, and they are really good quality websites to be linked in if you're in the tourism industry. But you might be a plumber, and with a plumber you might have particular brands of products that you use and sell, that would be a good place to have unique sites linking to your website. So Google measures that as well. The other thing is that a lot of people forget is Google Plus. On the social activity on Google Plus, we build websites, or we're coaching business owners, etc. We're teaching them you must have a Google Plus and have lots of activity going on that page with referrals and reviews and conversations and all sorts of things. It's owned by Google. It's not necessarily the most popular, but it's owned by Google, and they play importance on it, and they'll favor people that are using it with lots of social activity. And of course Facebook with the social activity and the social media activity and what's happening with that. So real simple, that's the top 10 ranking factors to get your site on the front page. And here's a great link. Moz.com is just an absolutely fantastic website. Recognized as one of the most reputable websites, out in search engine land, etc., regarded and respected. So it's a site that you can go to and look at the information that they're giving you and trusting in the information that you give out. We use it all the time. So the next thing is Google updates and how to stay ahead of Google updates. And there's major and minor updates happening all the time, and you may or may not have heard of, there's been Panda and there's been Penguin and what have you. It's not really, it's important, but it's not important. Well, it is important. I shouldn't say that, but don't get stressed out about it, because if you're doing the right things, or your SEO people or your web people that are looking after your online presence, if they're doing the right thing with your online presence, you don't really need to get concerned about it, but it's important to stay abreast of the information that it is, because it can have a massive impact on your business. The SEO community and Google staff are generally always talking about this, and you can tap into places and find out what's happening, and reputable blog sites to keep in touch with, and you can subscribe to these, and it's a bit like reading the newspaper. You can just skim read the headlines and skim read it to find out what's going on. But SEO Roundtable have got a great thing on category on Google updates, that they're constantly finding out what's happening, so that's a good one. And as I said earlier, the Moz.com blog is another place to find out and keep abreast of what's happening. So who am I? I help small business owners unlock the power of the internet to get more leads, more sales, and more profit with training and a digital marketing strategy. You can go to our website. There's heaps of free resources and stuff there you can have a look at. Hope this has been helpful and has given you a snapshot view of how to rank your website on Google.